I'll be showing you how I set up my Sony ZV-E10 for cinematic video and how I set up these types of cinematic talking headshots. So, cue the intro.
Patiently waiting on my dreams to come true, hoping and praying one day that they do.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Zero Gravity Design Studio. This is the new type of intro that I'm doing, so I'd love to hear your feedback if you have one, if you like the old intro better or this intro better. So I got some questions on my water and sky video and the Marseille video, like what picture profile I was using, what were my settings for my ZV-E10, and how do I achieve the cinematic looks and stuff. So I thought, you know what, let's take the chance and let's make a video about it. And I'm gonna show you my literal like in-camera every setting and how I shoot. I have my iPad set up here and how I set up these shots and exposing and all that jazz. So without further ado, let's go to my camera settings. Everyone, so let's go over the photo settings really quickly, so then we can go to the movie stuff. So file format, RAW, JPEG quality doesn't really matter. Aspect ratio 3:2 because I like using the whole sensor. Color space is sRGB. Lens compensation, I don't do anything in camera. I like that stuff to be done in the post and Lightroom or whatever editing software you got, so I don't really turn it on. Shooting mode, if you know what to do manually, like if you know how to set your white balance, if you know how to set your exposure, how to manually focus, then I think intelligent auto is fine. Don't see anything problematic with that. Now we get to my favorite part, which is the movie time. So I have my recoil set in M3 recorded. This is the same thing that you can see right now. File format is XAVC 4K, which is 4K goodness, and I always record in 24 frames per second with 100 megabits per second write speed. Other than that, we go to page 7, display button. This is all on, I don't really touch that. Zebra settings are really important. So I'm gonna explain a bit more on that, but I always use my zebras on here, and I have made a custom level which is 72% zebras with +-1, not 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that, +or-1, and I have a second custom one which is 100%. So I want to know if I'm like on my clipping limit or not. So function menu set, this is also very good. This is where you click the FN button and what you're getting. So I have my audio recording level, auto or manual focus. I have my ISO, white balance, and picture profile here, and my gamma display assist also here, and then my focus area, which I don't really touch that. Shoot mode, I don't really touch that. Peaking display is very important. It's always on by me, but I've also mapped it here so I can just turn it on and off. These are my zebra levels, so I can go and take the 70% or 72% or 100% zebras. The focal length adjustment for non-communicating lenses like the Helios 44 here, and this is the steady shot on and off. So power setting options is important. Auto power off temperature, like if it's overheating or something, the high is always better because they go always safe and standard, so it can just like, ooh, I'm just overheating, but it's not actually overheating. Now I'll show you how I usually shoot stuff, which is I usually, when I'm in daylight, I do daylight, or I might do auto, or like depending on the thing. I have on my phone a white balance app, so it tells you like what's the right white balance. That's pretty cool. So picture profile, I have in picture profile 2 my SLog2. This is important. Gamma is SLog2. Black gamma, don't touch anything. Knee, don't touch anything. Color mode is ITU 709 matrix, which is important there. Saturation 0, color phase 0, depth, don't touch anything there. But what I do touch is the detail here, and I do set it to level -7 because I don't want any sharpening done in camera. If I need to do it, I want to do it off the camera. Since we're in ITU 709, we don't need gamma assist. We can't use gamma assist. Let me just get to my normal shot and explain it to you why I do it like that. Now, exposing for SLog is a whole nother different story than exposing for normal stuff. They always say you have to expose it 2 stops over. What that means is you have to expose 2 stops over the 42% middle gray part. Now, since I don't have a color checker or anything like that, I'm using the info from Gerald Undone, which has worked perfectly. So thank you, Gerald. He has this color checker, and then there's like you can find on that video. In this color checker, there are different skin tones, and then he says what's the right zebras are for that skin tones. And for my skin tone, 72% zebras are the perfect zebras for it. So what I try to do, I set my zebras here at 72%, 71, okay, it's fine. And I try to get the bright side of my face to get the zebras, which, I mean, if you're looking at this, I would probably have to go up to like 4,000, 5,000 ISO, which is still a good look, but I'm getting a bit more noise. That's why I try to stay at 32,000 ISO. And if you're looking at the background, now you can see like there's a bit more zebras there and a bit more there. Now that could mean I'm actually I'm clipping there. So I'm just gonna go to my zebras and it's gonna go to 100. I think the SLog2's limit is 103. I'm not really sure. And if I look at it with my 104% zebras, I'm not clipping, which is good. That means I'm not losing any highlights and I'm still getting the 72% zebras on my face, so I am exposed correctly. Now the trick here is, of course, it comes down to the lighting, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. How I light the video. I mean, I adhere by 2 rules. I mean, one rule is always shoot the shadow side, because you know this place, it's brighter and this is darker, and you're seeing it from the darker side, and it's given a bit more natural contrast, and it looks just better. And that's I don't know, they said it to do it like that, and I was like, okay, why not try it. Other than that, I always try to use soft shadows. Even when it's daylight, I try to have my curtains up, and the light that's coming in is a lot softer then. Now this is a bit more easier, and of course if you have the sunlight, then you can just sit yourself like something like this, and then you can just diffuse the light with a curtain and, you know, stop down or anything like that, and try to get the 72% zebras on your face. That's pretty good. Now if it's night, or if it's a nearly night and very cloudy weather like this, now you have a bit less options. That would mean you have to add light to your situation, which next week's video is going to be completely on like a 10-minute, 12-minute tutorial on how to light your night scenes with home light, like literally home lights, the ones that you're seeing here and stuff like that. But for now, the basic rundown is this. I have a tube light set there, the Shure T30, and which is looking to the door, and it's bouncing that light off to my face, which gives me a bit more natural looking light, a bit more softer thing, and it's kind of like a bit more believable because it's motivated by that window, and you know that there's a window there, and it's kind of like movie magic. Even with this night scene, I had the Shure T30 at actually 75%, and I was bouncing it off of the wall to my right, and it was bouncing from there, and it's coming to me. It's a bit more natural. And there was also a normal light, like a house light. Now I turned it on, and I was getting a bit more this softer, natural look on my face. And you know, house light was obviously, unfortunately, not enough, and T30 was just complementing that light with its, I don't know, a lot of power. I was still shooting at ISO 5000, so it was pretty noisy, but it was still acceptable levels, I would say. Now when it comes to audio in my videos, I use this fella right here, which I hope the focus is not losing my eye and is focusing on me and not on the mic. This is a dynamic mic. It is actually not the best for these types of situations because it requires you to be, I mean, at least this mic requires you to be really close to it, and even if I hold it there, you can probably hear the difference between this and this. You would normally get a shotgun mic on top of your camera, and that would give you a bit more range, and that would be like pretty cool. You could also be using a lav mic, the lavalier mics, you know, the ones that you hang here. Now, I don't like these types of mics and those lav mics because it takes me out of the story. And like when I'm watching a video, when I'm watching like a film, and I kind of like to think about my videos as like small films, like little films. And when I'm doing that, I don't like to see the stuff that takes me out of the story. And for me, the mic is something that takes me out of the story. So I try to not use that a lot, but you know, since until I get a new mic, I'm gonna have to be okay with that. As far as the post-production goes, I edit all my videos in DaVinci Resolve. Now, I used to do Final Cut, but then I was like editing Final Cut and then like exporting it to DaVinci and color grading there and then exporting it back, and then I was like exporting the final video. I mean, it was just too much work, and I thought, you know what, let's just switch to DaVinci. And if you know one editing program, you know all of them. It's just a matter of learning the UI and, you know, learning the shortcuts and stuff. As far as color grading my videos go, I use DaVinci Resolve, which I did a tutorial on that about 2 weeks ago. So you can check that out if you haven't seen that one. It's a longer in-depth tutorial. But the basic premises is I use Cineprint 16 by Tom Balls and Film Vision 2 by Sir, and my own kind of like film emulation, like DaVinci's own film print emulation thing together to create this image that you're seeing right now. As far as music in my videos go, I use Artlist for all my music and sound effects needs, which I would give them an 8 out of 10 easily. For sound effects, 10 out of 10, really easy. Music, I mean, I think it's really good. It's really, really good. And for the price, really good. But I think MusicBed has really good music. It just is so expensive. It's like $35 a month US. And after that point, you have to register for a year. So you can't do like a monthly thing. And I'm just paying for Artlist about $17 a month. And that's like monthly. So I can cancel it whenever I want if I'm not using it. So, I mean, at this point, like if you support me, I can get MusicBed, but at this point I really cannot afford that. But Artlist, like I said, it's an 8 out of 10. Really nice. Now, with all of this out of the way, you know how I set up my Sony ZV-E10 for cinematic shoots, and how I set up these types of shots, and how I light it in basic terms. I know it might sound a little bit complicated, some stuff, but with every video we get better. So if you don't have this right on the first try, don't sweat it. I didn't have it right on the first try. It just took a long time, and it's still taking a long time. So just practice, practice, practice. And with that out of the way too, I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I'd like to thank you for letting me join to you on your weekend, weekday, dinner, breakfast, whatever. And thank you for making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You know, I have my Patreon and my presets on sale and all that stuff. So if you want to help me get an FX30, that's the best way to do that. And with that out of the way too, see you in the next one. Bye.
Patiently waiting on my dreams to come true, hoping and praying one day that they do.